Trump thrives and the Post sputters. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, it's not fake news. The Washington Post is actually dying. But staffers who were just laid off think hating Trump should give them lifetime job security.
We journalists are under attack. What do we do? The fourth richest person in the world, Jeff Bezos, owns the Washington Post. He could run it at a loss for the rest of time, and yet he refuses.
He refuses. Okay, they really don't understand capitalism, do they? To them, the only way billionaires like Jeff Bezos can redeem themselves is by funding their left-wing causes. Now, the Washington Post has been bleeding money. We all know that for years. More than $100 million in losses in 2024. That was 30% more losses than in 2023. And its internet traffic also declining. And with that, the Post's journalistic standards have also been sliding as well. Now, who can forget that $250 million lawsuit they had to settle, which was filed by Kentucky student Nicholas Sandmann? They falsely portrayed him as a confrontational young man in an encounter with a Native American. Now, as happens repeatedly, anti-MAGA bias at the Post overrode their objectivity. And time and again, the Post just gets it wrong. Remember how they played defense for Kamala when it came to the border, quibbling over whether her title was actually border czar, not about whether the border was actually secure? Then the Post tried to downplay Biden's physical decline, cognitive decline, by contending that it was conservative media that was using cheap fake videos to make Biden look bad. Oh, okay. That was another Biden Washington Post mistake. Now, look, I've been in the media business, I can't believe I'm saying this, for over 30 years. And I know, and I knew, that if at any point in time my work on the radio, podcast, TV, writing stopped making money, I knew that I'd have to go back to practicing law. Ugh, yuck. So to all those displaced Washington Post staffers, and I know it's tough out there, I have a novel concept for you. Start producing content that people will actually pay for. And that's the angle.
Fox News alert. The FBI is conducting a third search at Nancy Guthrie's home. They've just cleared the streets and have established a wider perimeter. Investigators were seen on the roof of Nancy's home. And law enforcement were also tipped off to a vehicle of interest that was caught on camera outside of a convenience store. Police are currently on the lookout for this vehicle. All this just moments after officials say they've received another critical message. The note was emailed to the same local Tucson station that received the first note. The Guthrie family had asked for proof of life. Here's what KOLD anchor Mary Coleman told CNN.
Does it seem that that's what this letter is? Is it a response to those things, to those the pleas of Savannah and her siblings? Mm-hmm. And does it include that proof of life or any claim to that?
I can't disclose whether it includes that, but I will go as far as to say that it does seem like it is a response to some of those videos that were made.
The anchor later explained that the email contained sensitive information, and she's not at liberty to discuss it at the request of the Pima County Sheriff Department. This note was very similar to the first note.
Is there, would you say it's the same tone and tenor, or is there any shift?
Yeah, I would say it's just as coherent as the first. That's what, struck us as odd about the first one, is that, like you said, it was well thought out, clear thoughts put together well. And I would say that this second one, it has a very, very similar, the way that it was put together was very similar.
Whoever's sending these notes is highly sophisticated and is protecting their identity from the FBI.
This is not the same IP address, but it appears the sender used the same type of secure server to hide their IP address. So that's all that we know about the sender at this point, which unfortunately really isn't much. And this new note does contain something that the senders seem to think will prove to investigators that they're the same people or person who sent the first note.
It's been 6 days, and Nancy is without her medication. And when she was abducted, she sustained a bloody injury. This negotiation, if it even is a negotiation, is becoming desperate. A final deadline was set for Monday. TMZ, who received the first alleged ransom note, has been analyzing the contents and believes they have a clue about the geography of the kidnappers. Watch.
In the letter, it says they would return her back to Tucson. So they also give a time frame of how long it would take after they received the money to return her to Tucson. If you look at the time frame, then you say, well, you can draw a circle around Tucson to see how long maximum it would take to get her back there. This is Tucson right here. If you look at this red circle, that is the radius of the maximum amount of time it would take to get her back to Tucson.
If the note's not a hoax, the language would indicate that the entire Southwest, including most of Mexico, is the playing field. Now, if you live there and see something, say something. The clock's ticking. The kidnappers are in total control. Harvey Levin explains how.
The letter says, you will have no way of contacting me. This is the only contact. So that's why they're pleading for proof of life. That's why they are begging, because they have no idea how to get in touch with this person. So I don't think they know who sent it. And the person who sent it says, this is going to be the only contact, and you have no way of getting in touch with me. So they made that clear.
These ransom notes are coming from an untraceable address. If the second note is indeed legitimate and is in response to the two Guthrie family videos, then communication has been established. So what's next? Police are currently going door to door in the Guthrie neighborhood, checking doorbell and security cameras, just hoping for something, anything, that'll spark a new lead. Most cameras aren't flagging because the neighborhood's kind of like a black hole.
And as you might be able to tell, there are almost no streetlights in this entire area. A lot of communities in Arizona take seriously what's called light pollution. They don't like to emit a lot of light. So it does beg the question of what someone can get away with here at night. And even if you do have a Ring camera or some type of security camera, is it going to be able to make out a particular human or car, or is it just going to be a shadow or a silhouette? Even if you have a camera on your front door, it may not see who's passing by.
Nothing. Our camera would not. We have a long driveway. You cannot see anything.
Right. And that
light pollution, I know. Whoever the abductor is had to have been familiar with the terrain or cased the neighborhood. TMZ says it has local written all over it.
It is interesting to me that we got this ransom letter, but also the other two media outlets that got the ransom letters were both located in Tucson. They were television stations in Tucson. So why would somebody who wrote a letter like this know about the local stations and send to the local stations if they have no connection to Tucson? It feels like there is a connection to Tucson with the person who wrote this letter.
And they must have known the blind spots at Nancy's house. We know her doorbell surveillance was disconnected. Authorities say it was physically removed. The whereabouts of that camera are still unknown. But what's even more suspicious is that 20 minutes later, a person was detected by the doorbell software.
With that 20-minute time gap, the cameras gets ripped off the doorbell, but then there's motion seen on the camera outside, 20 minutes later. What's that about? Some people in law enforcement wonder if the person took the doorbell camera off and waited to see if police arrived. Would that alert anything? Would that do anything? And then perhaps thinking the coast was clear, goes back to the house. We don't know. We don't know the specifics of what camera detected the motion either.
All this technology, and we have nothing yet. Nothing. That's why investigators are still pouring through highway surveillance footage to see if they can run plates or spot anything out of the ordinary. Remember that hours before her kidnapping, Nancy was being driven by her son-in-law. He dropped her off after dinner. Were there any cars following them? Fox got behind the wheel to check the route.
We're going to take you on a drive to her daughter Annie's home. So we're coming up on what looks like the first major intersection where you have lights on all four sides on the way to Annie's house. And so this is an area where we can see cameras. This was a 4.5-mile drive, 10 minutes going the speed limit, and we can see here at Annie's house, Savannah Guthrie's sister's home.
Detectives are analyzing that first major intersection. One of Nancy's neighbors reported a suspicious white van parked on the block days before. Was this a crew staking out the house? Was Nancy being followed the weekend before? Or is this just another dead end? Usually in high-profile criminal investigations, the public can be extremely helpful, but they can also slow things down and even whip up fake leads, like this fake ransom text demanding Bitcoin from the Guthries. Turned out that some whack job sent it. Here he is. The FBI picked him up and arrested him in L.A. And here's a weird coincidence. 2 teens were arrested in Arizona in a home invasion tied to an alleged $66 million crypto plot on the same day Nancy Guthrie was last seen. There's still a lot we don't know, and there's been a lot of second guessing. The local sheriff, who's been doing a lot of media rounds, may have dropped the ball in the critical hours when Nancy was reported missing. The sheriff didn't get the surveillance plane in the air on Sunday morning. It wasn't until the afternoon that we had eyes in the sky. This vital search and rescue aircraft needed to be in the air during the make-or-break initial phase. It's equipped with high-resolution thermal imaging cameras that can scan vast swaths of desert terrain. Because of a staffing issue, according to the Daily Mail, the plane sat on the tarmac. Since then, we've seen the FBI come in and take a firmer grip on the case. Cell phone tower data is being exploited. Intelligence analysts are running down leads, and crisis negotiators are consulting with the Guthrie family. At this stage of the investigation, it's becoming pretty clear the kidnappers aren't a bunch of amateurs.
People have been asking, does it seem like it's written by just a crazy person? And the answer is no. This letter was very well constructed. It had structure. If you took this letter to an English teacher and said, give me notes on structure, on grammar, you probably would get no notes back. It's done by somebody, I believe, who is educated and really spent time. This was not something that took 5 minutes to write.
Finally, something I can agree with. It's Friday, so you know what that means. It's time to welcome tonight's guest. Well, he's been canceled more times than Chris Christie's gym membership. Comedian Rob Schneider. He always reminds crowds to tip the waitstaff because he's one of them. Comedian Sherrod Small. This man keeps fit by jogging and ankle monitor. Former GOP Congressman George Santos. And she went from Duran Duran to old guys who eat bran. Host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy. Hey! Before we get to some news stories, let's do this.
Greg's Leftovers.
All right, it's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them, so if they suck, we'll send Joe Mackey to clean the glory holes at a biker bar. George, you know what that is.
We're on fire tonight.
All right, haven't even let's end the show now.
Friday, baby.
Yes. So a new report claims that Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass watered down the Palisades fire report. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Where'd she find the water? Because it burned down. New reports show that Jeffrey Epstein was seeking info on how to lengthen his micro-penis. Although the last woman to see him disputes this, saying he was extremely well hung. Wow.
That was a good one. was nice. It's Friday, people.
NASA's mission to circle the moon has been delayed for the 7th time. Technicians explain that they just can't escape the gravitational pull of J.B. Pritzker. While people are excited for this Sunday's Super Bowl, others look forward to the Puppy Bowl. Which in RFK Jr.'s house is an actual bowl of puppies. Because he eats them.
High protein.
High protein. Turning Point has announced Kid Rock will headline its counter-programming halftime show. To prepare for the show, he showered last year. At this year's Winter Olympics opening ceremony in Italy, 2 giant cauldrons were lit simultaneously. Fun fact, it's the same technology they used to make fondue over at The View. That was a long way.
Yeah, a lot of beats.
By the way, this year's Olympics will feature women's team curling. This is all part of an effort to show that some women still know how to use a broom.
Wow.
This weekend, OnlyFans model Bonnie Blue plans to set a record by sleeping with more than 1,057 men in 24 hours, shattering the record previously held by this man. Did she really need the 57? Soon, Disneyland fans will be able to get married on the steps of the Haunted Mansion. Now that's a fairy tale that they'll ever get married. Wow.
Yes.
Thank you. In a Wisconsin neighborhood, postal workers were terrorized and chased by wild turkeys. Did someone say wild turkey? Asked one woman. You laugh at that one, but not at the one before it. Earlier this week, G.I. Joe turned 62. Wow, I'll never forget my first G.I. Joe. I met him in Fort Lauderdale. Stole my heart and my wallet. Singer Sabrina Carpenter is coming out with her own perfume. Meanwhile, Lizzo is releasing a fragrance of her own after she eats at Taco Bell.
Wow.
Thank you. Southwest Airlines is hiking fares for plus-size passengers, which is the first time a plus-size passenger has ever heard of hiking.
Yeah.
I know.
Solid.
I know. Bill Belichick's girlfriend is planning a huge party on the same day as the Hall of Fame induction. It's called her prom. In a recent interview, actress Sydney Sweeney said she's looking for a man who is athletic, outgoing, and funny. Message received. In a medical first, scientists have attached an ear onto a foot. Next up, removing a man's ass from an airline toilet seat. And finally, researchers unveiled the world's first biometric AI robot. And they say it boasts a 92% human-like walking accuracy. But don't worry, you can still it.
USA!
Hey, USA! USA! Oh, my God. I'll get a phone call on that one. Did you really have to use the F word? All right. So as always, we ask, why are miserable leftists always named Joy? It's weird. It's weird. It's like a guy who's never made a woman wet, but his name is Watters.
Solid. Friday, baby. You are correct, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
So here's another. Joy Flynn. At a recent meeting, the school board vice president got upset following a colleague's report on student achievement because he used the word homeless. That's when she fired back with this drivel.
I have a lot to say, and I will speak plainly. and you may not like it. I am personally offended by what was presented on so many different levels.
Ooh, I'm mad.
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to unhoused.
Yeah.
I'm not done.
So many different levels. Just try one. What is with the dramatic pause? That's a school board meeting, not Shakespeare in the frickin' park. But at least the long pause gave everyone in the audience the chance to go on Zillow and find a home in Florida. Anyway, that's when another school board member noted that the term homeless is used in official context in California.
That's the way our state of California, that's the language that they use, and that's their
That doesn't
reporting.
mean that's the language we have to use. I'm
Those are
just
their
making
titles.
a statement, and
I
I'd
know.
like
I
to
just
have
wanna
my
make
time
sure
to
that
finish.
he's-
Just because that's the way that everybody else does it doesn't mean that's the way we need to do it.
Yeah. She's right.
It's a respectful term to speak about our community.
Okay, lady, I'll play. I won't refer to you as a moron. I'll go with unbrained. I'm evolving. Thank you. I've changed. She's persuaded me. But this is the MO of the woke and the useless, getting upset over a word so you don't have to deal with the real problem. It's not failing schools, it's a colleague who uses the word homeless. And of course, she's offended on behalf of people she knows nothing about. Because you know who isn't worried about the word homeless? Homeless people. They're more concerned about ringworm or having to share their refrigerator box with losers. They're not sitting around saying, I wish they'd call me by a better name. No, they're sitting around trying to avoid hungry bobcats encroaching their encampments. But this isn't about helping the homeless at all. It's about helping that woman's status. She wants to appear important without doing anything important. Forget solutions. She just wants credit. By the way, how is unhoused different than homeless? Why not settle the problem and just call them people who really love to camp? It's funny, though, how liberals often soften language when defending bad stuff. They say undocumented immigrants instead of illegal aliens. They say justice-involved person instead of violent felon. And how did gender-affirming care become the acceptable phrase for castrating kids? I guess genital relocation was too complicated. And we can't say retarded anymore. Now we just have to show a picture of Mark Ruffalo. So you can blame creeps like this broad, but you gotta wonder, how in the hell did someone so brain dead end up on a California school board?
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.